Welcome, everybody, to the Rivalcade Rumble brought to you by DX Racer and Razor. I'm Storm, back with YIKES for today's Overwatch action. We're live from the Atlantic City Fan Expo at the Showboat Hotel, and we're going to be bringing you guys a lot more Overwatch action today. We had 16 teams yesterday in the group stages. We are down to 8 today, still battling it out for that $5,000. YIKES, how are you feeling about today's matches?
I think today's going to be awesome, man. I mean, obviously we have really solid teams that have worked their way into the playoffs here, and it's really stacked in my opinion, so I'm really excited to just jump into it.
Yeah, well, our first matchup on stream will be Renegades up against YIKES. We also have Kungarna taking on Rise Nation, Cloud9 and CLG, and then Selfless taking on LG Evil in the lower half of the bracket. So YIKES up against Renegade, our first match that we're going to be having on stream. Renegades coming off of a 3-0 group stage yesterday, kind of surprising, along with YIKES finishing second to Kungarna in their group here. So thoughts on this first matchup we have?
Well, this is going to be a good one because, I mean, going into this tournament, I wasn't really expecting Renegades to be as much of a contender as they are. Obviously, YIKES coming off of that fresh victory at the Alienware Monthly Melee, you kind of expect them to do quite well in this tournament, but, Kungarna just kind of put them in their place a little bit, set them back a little, and then Renegades stepping it up against CLG. I mean, that's the only match that we got to see with Renegades so far, so obviously my opinion of them is very high at the moment because they made CLG look, I mean, they completely trounced CLG. Like, it wasn't even close in the matchup that we saw. So I'm definitely expecting a lot from Renegades here. This is definitely going to be a great matchup, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these two teams can do.
Yeah, I thought Renegades heading into the tournament, them and Evil Geniuses were two big wild cards for me personally, and Renegades being that one with Zachary and Primo Dolce, of course, joining the new roster. And they really hadn't played in many tournaments over the past couple of months. So joining the roster, Zachary, he had some struggles yesterday with his Graviton surges.
Yeah.
There was even a clip that I had seen of him trying to jump up on the statue on Kings Row. He had some difficulties trying to jump around there with his Zarya as well. But I think he's going to be back and looking, and be in good form here today with the rest of the team, because it is single elimination. All matches today are best of 3 except for our finals, which is a best of 5. So we're going to be bringing you guys one quarterfinal, both of the semifinals, the consolation match, and then we'll finish out the day with the finals. So just taking a look at the field here, anyone in particular you are looking to make a run to the finals today?
Well, I mean, I'm certainly looking at teams like Kungarna to try to make a stand. I mean, they obviously did really well in their group stage. They did really well. I mean, they completely murdered out the qualifier and pushed through into that group stage, did really well. They went 3-0 on that one. Throughout the qualifier, they beat out LDLC, Tempo Storm, and Vice. Group stage included what was kind of our number 1 seed going into this in YIKES, which we're seeing right now. And they actually did quite well in that matchup. They even beat out EG as well as LDLC again for the second time there to be able to secure that. So they're currently sitting lossless at the moment so far in this tournament, and I kind of expect big things from them because they looked so good yesterday. I mean, obviously really good play from them for sure, but looking over at Renegades right now for this first matchup, I mean, you talked a little bit about Zachary there as one of those new additions, obviously Primo being the other one that we talked about a lot yesterday. Zachary, again, I think, the big thing with Zachary in particular is that, the thing that we saw yesterday, the Gravitons were not the greatest. I mean, in terms of value that you get out of a Graviton, they weren't great, especially on Kings Row. But the thing was he was getting those quick.
Yes,
he was a high energy. He was getting the barriers out. He was protecting his team. They were being successful regardless of those Gravitons. But I mean, just imagine what would have happened if he had a lot more value with those. I mean, obviously it would have been a lot better. So just think about the fact that Renegades did so well in that matchup against CLG, and
even with
there's still room to improve, like a lot of room. There's a lot of headroom for sure.
And talking about room to improve, YIKES, of course, I mean, they 2-0'd LDLC and they 2-0'd Evil Geniuses, but, did fall short to Kungarna in some pretty close matches. Talking about improvements, what do you think YIKES need to bring to the table today to get past this Renegades roster?
Well, I mean, a good thing for YIKES is that they do have a lot of flexibility, but they need to kind of figure out what happened with that Kungarna matchup. How do you keep XQC safe when he does get aggressive? I mean, we did see that quite a lot. XQC and Space both getting, going with that Diva matchup with the Winston and being very aggressive, trying to get in the face of the opponent, and, going from there to try to really kind of set up a lot of separation between their team and the opposition, and just getting some early picks by just putting down a lot of early aggression on the front line. Now, with what Michael did yesterday with Dogman, they just put in a bunch of work right onto XQC, took him down pretty quickly and pretty effectively, and YIKES really suffered from that. So I think a big thing with this one is if Renegade starts to do that same kind of thing, how do they need to be able to adapt to that? How do you keep XQC safe? Do you want to switch things up, or do you want to change out the play style?
Well, we are going to be heading to Lijiang Tower to get things started. We've got Kings Row for the second map and Hollywood for the third, so we're going to get a little bit of a mix-up with these game modes that we're going to have coming your way in just a moment, guys. We've got both teams in the lobby just waiting on the OKs to get things underway. Speaking of this matchup, Hurix, who are you going to be taking between these two teams to move into the finals? Or excuse me, the semifinals.
This is a tough one. This is the reason why we wanted to watch this match, because this is probably the toughest one, at least in my opinion, because you already do, like I said, you have what was going to be probably our personal favorite, I guess, to go or at least to the final, and YIKES, and then you also have Renegades, who just looked so solid throughout the group stage after really kind of being unsure about where they were going to be. So. I'm gonna call for Renegades. I think Renegades has this.
I have to agree on that one. I mean, I talked to you a little bit about before we came on air here that I thought Renegades looked so strong yesterday. I thought they brought a lot to the table, and that's without with them still having a lot of room to improve. I think YIKES is kind of in the same boat here, but I'm not really sure if they can get a grip on what Jesus and Mangachu were able to really bring to the table for Renegades throughout their matches yesterday. As we do head to Lijiang Tower, we are ready to go to get in today's Overwatch action, guys. Teams are fighting it out for $5,000 today. Single elimination again, best of threes until the finals. So a little bit of wiggle room with the best of three, but teams are really going to have to show up today. And I think that's a big point I was kind of talking to you about. It's all about who shows up right out of the gates here as we get this one underway here, X.
And we do see Mangachu over on that Pharah, so we are going to have competing Pharah Mercies in the sky right now as ZZA and Ginger Pop, of course, that duo that worked so well against Selfless, is actually going to go ahead and pull that out as well.
We're going to see it from both sides, like you had just mentioned. Interested to see what Zachary can get done with on the D.Va. Played a lot of Zarya yesterday, had a little bit of D.Va action as well, but right away we are going to see Primo diving into the back, trying to knock him off. Decent displacement from Zachary to try to knock them off the map there. Didn't quite come up successful with this one, but neither team really yet to pull the trigger here with their DPS players.
But XQC, again, caught in a very bad situation. Jared actually finishes the job, pushes him off, but he was already very low to begin with, and that's going to be Renegades pulling off this first fight.
Excellent positioning, I think, from the tanks of Renegades right there. Primo and Zachary were on the side there, and there was really no opportunity for XQC to move through onto the point, so there was a nice boop coming out there from Jared to knock him off there and come up with the first points here in the first round.
And Jesus is actually going to be pretty scary in this matchup because, again, you have to be very cautious of those tracers, especially if they're just, shooting directly into XQC. I mean, that's exactly what we saw Jesus doing in that particular first fight. And now we see, Dante killed himself off. Actually, what happened there, I think he stuck the pulse bomb to Jesus, but he actually recalled, and the recall just happened to go right into the path.
A little unfortunate for him. Sherlocky, though, ready to go with the Resurrect. Brings up both Mangachu and Jesus right now. Ginger Pop close to having his, but the barrage comes out there from Pizza there, who is actually, a lot of that's absorbed by Zachary with the defense matrix. So good positioning coming out from there. Ginger Pop gets just Dante back up into that one, not his fellow Pharah player, and this is looking pretty good here for Renegades once again.
Yeah, Ginger Pop, of course, not going to be able to actually make it work, but there, Mangachu, again, just sitting on that barrage here. And they have a lot of firepower into this next fight. A late kill onto Dante is certainly going to secure another 10 or 15% here for him. As again, Mangachu just holding onto that barrage, looking for an opportunity to just let that one loose. Both Divas sitting on self-destruct at the moment, obviously looking to try to get a little bit of a, I would assume some spotlight action onto Mangachu as soon as that barrage comes out, because that's going to be basically make or breaking this fight that's coming up here. What could be the very last fight, actually.
It certainly could be, especially since Sherlocky does have his ultimate up once again, so he can bring his team back into this one. Pulse bomb's out there. Dante doesn't find anything, but Dahoon's actually taken down while he's trying to drop the beat. That is huge, Yurks, because now they've got about 10 seconds to go. Can Dahoon and XQC get back in time? Self-destruct is off the map coming out there from space. Oh, he actually does get Mangachu. Pans out pretty well for him, and Jesus comes around the corner. He might be able to turn this around for his team.
Jared getting down pretty low. The Resurrect comes out. ZZA actually pulling out the barrage, but he gets completely murdered there by Jesus, and Mangachu finally unleashes one of his own. And look at the healing coming out onto Mangachu. I mean, he had Sherlocky on him there and just keeping him alive barely, but that's going to be 1-0 start for Renegades here on Lijiang Tower.
Loved what I saw there from Sherlocky throughout, being able to position himself and pretty much places to where the enemy team wasn't able to get it. And also on Zachary's part, he was able to deny the enemy Pharah multiple times from actually unleashing too much damage with the barrage. I believe he might have gotten a kill off, maybe two at one point with the barrage, but Zachary was always doing his duty and being there with the defense matrix to make sure his team wasn't in a terrible position. So 100-0 first round coming out there for Renegades.
Let's see if maybe YIKES can turn everything back around. I mean, obviously, the Fairy Mercy combo there is very potent for these guys, but still, I mean, Ginger Pop has a lot of versatility, so they could definitely switch things back over if they decide that's what they want to do. But XQC, I mean, definitely did have some struggle against the Tracer. I mean, Jesus just barreling into him, and that's going to be a struggle if you're on the Winston. I mean, especially if the Tracer's just got a lot of room to work with, because really, I mean, ZZA is just kind of just struggling to try to take down Megachu in the sky.
Decent peel coming out there for the side of Sherlocky, as it was Dante almost coming out with that first kill in the back line. Regardless, still, both teams kind of hovering over this point right now, looking to make a move, and I'm looking for a little bit of damage into that back line. We're yet to actually see Jesus try to get back onto Ginger Pop. He's the first to drop here, but XQC going down is really big for Renegades, getting rid of that Maytang.
Oh, look at the position from Megachu, though. He might be able to just kind of jump in here and maybe even the odds a little bit, because certainly at this point it looks like YIKES is going to be able to take this one, but Megachu actually getting taken down pretty low there. The Tracer's all over him, and he's going to be able to take Megachu down, and that's going to be YIKES with not only the first couple points of the game, but also taking the fight late, and it's securing themselves a pretty distinct lead at this stage.
That was just the rest of YIKES being on the point, better positioning coming out from them, able to angle themselves to make sure they grab that point mid-fight, and then they actually were outnumbered. That was a pretty good start for the side of Renegades, but not able to really follow through with that one. Regardless, both teams coming up on a resurrect for the next fight. They're going to actually initiate with the sound barrier coming out there from Jer and Dahoon here. Self-destruct out, it almost gets him, but no, it was the sound barrier from Dahoon that actually saves Ginger Pop's lives.
Space actually almost doesn't get back into his mech, but that mech is just going to be completely removed from play here as soon as he get back into it. Zachary there coming through with that.
Oh, Primo! Oh man, Primo, he actually got knocked off the map there by XQC with the Primal Rage. Primo tries to pop his Primal Rage, which he actually did as he's falling down. Wasn't able to jump back onto the map here. Wasted ultimate at that, and again, it's going to be YIKES holding on to the point.
ZZA actually holding on to that barrage himself at the moment, and now Sherlocky going to be, you know, basically kind of in charge of making sure that everybody gets onto the point, everybody, you know, gets rezzed up if they actually just wind up going in and drive pushing. I mean, they don't really have a lot of options here, because Jesus really, I mean, if he can get a pick with the pulse bomb, everything's kind of equaled out right now. I mean, you have the barrage, but as soon as that comes out, Sherlocky really needs to kind of address that, get everybody back into play.
Looking for something from Jesus, not able to really find his mark thus far, as Dante's actually in the back line. There's a barrage coming out. He does pick up a crucial kill on the both supports, actually. Sherlocky had the resurrect available here. Wasn't able to get that one off because he is the first to drop, and it looks like this should be YIKES' round. They are going to be able to clean this one up still. They have to take care of business with Jesus. He's going to drop here. 3 seconds to get back. They might be able to touch this one. Doesn't look like that's the case, and we've got 2 100-0 rounds on our hands to get things started on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, so despite the fact that, you know, XQC has died a couple times here, still he's creating the separation that he needs to create anyway. So his job is still being accomplished, just, you know, regardless of the fact that Jesus is just all over him trying to take him down. Zachary trying to help out with that a little bit as well, and Primo even to some extent just kind of in his face and a little bit of some Winston v. Winston stuff. I mean, the thing is that at the end of the day, YIKES pulled away 100-0 there. So, I mean, definitely working in their favor. At this point, though, as it is 1-1, I expect some kind of change. It looks like it's only going to be Renegades making that. And look at this. Sherlocky actually going over to the Zenyatta with Megachu coming back over to the Soldier. This is
that's exactly what worked. That's exactly what worked against them yesterday. Dogman with Kungarna was able to just lock down XQC with that Discord Orb, and they blew him up. And if Megachu can come through on the 76 along with Jesus, just pummeling him down, if he can get on top of XQC with that Discord Orb active, then they should be in a decent position. I love this change, but no, it's Sherlocky the first to drop. Dante going to take care of business in the back line.
And that's a huge pickup because, I mean, just as we were just mentioning, that those Discord Orbs are really, really important here. But Dante in the back line just ripping apart. Megachu takes him down, and Dante and Space coming together for basically every kill, every important kill, just, again, systematically just taking them apart. And they do win that first fight yet again here. I mean, Sherlocky not really involved in that last fight. Certainly have to wait and see what kind of impact he'll have with those Discords. But going to have to wait for the rest of the team here, Renegades, to kind of file in, coming off of that respawn.
Jesus can only do so much there. He was tearing those guys up, picked up a few kills for himself, and was laying the damage on this space. So unfortunately, didn't have enough support in the area. Dante again looking to get into that backline. Knows that Sherlocky is pretty much their focus target at this point in time, but they are so far in the back. Primo is all alone on the front line. No one's there to support. They had to try to deal with Dante, and Dante really is diverting a lot of their attention to the back to that back line and kind of leaving Primo to just to hang in the front and not really be able to get a whole lot accomplished.
Obviously, Dante's tracer play has really stepped up in the last 2 maps, but really, I mean, it's just the team as a whole. YIKES playing this incredibly smart. They're playing very slow. I mean, obviously, Renegades is looking with this composition to really put some pressure down onto the Pharah and the Mercy, but by playing slow, by just kind of using the environment to stay away from those dangerous situations, you know, they're allowing Primo to kind of make those mistakes, overextend, take that kill, slow down the pace of the game so that you could just get this free point accumulation that you're seeing right here, 60-0 at the moment, with only 2 fights under the belt.
Well, Megachu hasn't had an opportunity to actually get the high ground, but now he's actually going to be able to find a kill there onto Ginger Pop with that tactical visor, which is big because he had the Resurrect available, of course. Still going to go ahead and pop the Primal Rage there from XQC. What he can get done as Sherlocky comes through. Transcendent's going to be able to keep him alive for the time being, and this is looking like this could be Renegades pulling through.
The most pivotal point of that fight right there was Sherlocky landing that insane right-click burst damage onto Dante in the backline, taking him out, removing the possibility of him getting picked off, and then coming through with that Transcendence. But Ginger Pop going ahead and returning there with that Resurrect, looking for an opportunity to get the rest of his team forward, and it seems as though Renegades is going to be able to prevent that, and they might win this fight, but look how long it's taken them.
It's taken them quite a bit of time. 99% put up there by the side of YIKES, and I think this is, obviously it's good for the side of Renegades, but I think this might open up an opportunity for Mangachu to actually get the positioning he's wanted to get. He's been kind of limited because Pizza on the Pharah has just been able to pretty much deny that high ground to him, and even Space is able to easily jump up there. We've seen Dante roaming around at the top as well, and it doesn't look like he actually wants to go for that. He's going to back off, just keep the low ground with his team, but look at Dante coming around the corner here. No Pulse Bomb ready, but he's looking for Sherlocky.
Really, I mean, all they want to do is try to get the information, and the unfortunate fact of the matter is that Mangachu really wanted to get a little bit more poke damage in there, so he wasn't going to be able to get up into that high ground that he really wanted, and because of that, he doesn't have the positioning to actually pull off a good tac visor. Jared, with Renegades trying to just hold on, I mean, this is desperation here with the sound barrier, not really going to have a lot of value, and as Barrage comes out, that's going to be all the cleanup that YIKES needs, and really, that should be it.
Yeah, it certainly should be the round. Pulse Bomb's out there. Jesus trying to touch. He will not touch it in time, unfortunately, as that will be YIKES coming through with the 3rd round, up 2-1 here. And that fight really started with Dante coming around the entire backside of the map. There was no peel for Sherlocky on the Zenyatta. He was pretty much left alone near their, towards their spawn there, and easily dealt with, which opened up the window for XQC to jump in and not really have to worry about the Discord Orb. So if they can protect Sherlocky, who's actually back to the Mercy, going with that Fire Mercy setup again here, then they might be in a decent position, but we'll see what they can get done here.
Really looking forward to seeing what Renegade's going to be able to do with this composition. I mean, just kind of flexing back over to it on Night Market. But here's the thing, I mean, again, really smart play from YIKES there, just holistically, because again, you saw really good tracer play from Dante, really kind of just putting in a lot of work into Sherlocky. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't like the position of Mangachu. He was just kind of on the point. I think he should have tried to get some separation for himself, a little bit of distance coverage, so that you can get XQC or Space into a bad position, or at least pull them out of the fight. But at this stage, I mean, again, XQC is taken low, but the fact that they're all just kind of stacked up together, they're getting that major healing that they need here, Storm, and they're just coming out with pick after pick here, despite the fact that Jesus actually still has been putting in work this entire time.
I like what Jesus is trying to do. He's trying to deny what Dante is doing here, as Jesus picks up the kill onto Space. That's a nice pickup for these guys, getting rid of him, especially since they lost Primo Dolce so early on in the fight, especially with Jesus now getting pretty low, needs to be able to keep himself healthy. They go ahead and pop the Primal Rage there from XQC to try to hold on with what's left here, but he's going to be forced to more than likely bail from this fight.
And that's the Primal Rage taken out of the fight too, so that's just as important. They already won the point, so they're going to be holding on to this, but they really need to actually get a couple more kills here to actually secure this point, or else it's going to get flipped, and you really don't want to have it flipped at this stage, especially if you have to pull out ults just to try to hold on to it and then wind up losing. That's going to be really, really bad for them. Barrage at the ready, but not in a position to use it, as Sherlocky, I mean, obviously you really want to use the Resurrect here, but he's not going to be able to have it available, and that's going to be the wipe, it looks like.
Oh. Nope, yeah, he doesn't have it quite available. He just wanted to jump in there, maybe die with the rest of his team, get himself an extra 1 or 2% there. 26% put up, and that was pretty much just an extremely extended team fight, as XQC really never left after the Primal Rage came through, with Space coming back and Ginger Pop keeping him alive there. Now they have 4 ultimates to work with for the next fight. Thankfully a Resurrect as well, but they're going to go and reinitiate right away here. Using that sound barrier from the side of Dahoon hits all 6 team members. A good start to the fight.
And now you really don't want to see ultimates coming out at all for Renegades. You want to see them just kind of exiting the fight, seeing if they can take any picks if possible. But that's going to be it. They're just going to go ahead and fold. Jared just died way too quick for them to actually take a real strong engage there. G's is going to be pulling back as well, just getting that healing to get safe. Get comfortable once again. Again, just trying to get everybody off of that respawn so they can jump back in there. This was a really, really hard fight to take, that last one that we just saw, because again, you know, ultimates were kind of equal, but because of the fact that it flipped with that extended fight, really a huge advantage to the team that was just sitting on the point there. Yikes.
Well, Ginger Pop, he was late to die, so he's coming into this fight extremely late here. It's going to be a 5-on-6 until he's here. Does have a Resurrect ready to go to get Dante back up into this one. He's going to go ahead and use that, make it a 6-on-6. Once again, Sherlock, he has his to bring up Mangachu. He might wait a second to see if anyone else falls at this point, but still, 65% and counting. He brings up Mangachu, but Primo is hit with the Pulse Bomb immediately following that. Unfortunately, not going to be a part of this fight.
Incredibly good timing there, actually, but still Renegades look to be trying to pull this one out. And we do see, XQC in a little bit of trouble. Sherlock, he just pulling out the pistol and just blasting him down, forcing him to go for that big health back just to get away from the fight. But he's going to get dangerously close again. Looks like he's going to get peeled off, and that will be Renegades finally flipping this once again. But look at this again. Yikes. At about 90% before that even happens, and they're still kind of filing onto this point just to kind of get more out of this if they can.
Thankfully, this time around, Space is still here, so he should be able to hold this to 99, being the diva. But thankfully, this time around for Renegades, they at least have 26 on the board before they put it in overtime. So they do get the flip. They've got a fighting chance here, but they're going to have to get up to 100. Otherwise, the first map will go to Yikes in this best-of-3 quarterfinal here, as every single map matters really with the single elimination here. So we'll see what they can do here. They've got the ult advantage. They've got Resurrect ready to go. This should be their next fight or two to take.
Sherlock ready to go with that Resurrect. Definitely looking at him right now to make a play. Last time around, it was a little sketchy after that Resurrect, as Primo fell almost immediately after, but still they won that fight, so have to see how this Farah battle goes. See if Mangachu can come out.
Self-destruct from Zachary, though. He's actually forced that one out. There's Barrage. Mangachu, a lot of that was absorbed by Space, but he's actually just taken out of the mech. That's all they really get from it, but I think that's still definitely a win for these guys. But there's a Barrage now. Pizza coming through, able to find onto Sherlock. Sherlock, he had Resurrect. We're at 70% here. We'll have to see, can they hold on to this and make this the final fight?
Oh man, Mangachu actually denied the health pack in the air, as XQC gonna take him in the air, just getting him all the way up there at such high altitude. But then we do see the Pulse Bomb at the ready here as well. It comes out. He's going to deny XQC any further kills, as Space on the point. Going to be assisted there by ZZA, and there's actually Ginger Pop coming through, picking XQC back up, and the Farah battle is becoming very intense at this stage, as Mangachu doesn't have that pocket there. Dante finishes him off.
I think that's going to be it. Yeah, Primo just going to be dropped here. They do get to 99%. Space is in the area, so is Jesus, but he is being pretty much dived upon there by XQC. They've got 3 people on the point, with Jared coming around on the Lucio. But remember, they don't have a Resurrect to work with. Sherlock, he makes a change over to Soldier 76 here. Overtime ticking down still. They should be able to funnel into this here, but they just don't have the numbers just yet.
And that's the problem. I mean, Sherlock, he doesn't have the ability to Resurrect as he is on the Soldier, just to try to sprint over. And that's not going to be...
That's a GG.
Yeah, that's it. 3-1 in favor of Yikes as we move to the second map. And like you said, single elimination. Every map matters now. You know, Renegades, the team that we kind of think might be able to have a slight advantage, is potentially 1 map away from just being sent home.
Again, it's all about who shows up today, and Yikes really coming alive here. I really liked what I saw from their Fire Mercy setup, and Dante in particular, you know, personally my MVP of that map entirely. He did a terrific job of denying Sherlock when he wanted to make that change over to the Zenyatta to try to deny what we saw Kungarna do to Yikes yesterday. So congrats to them taking the first map, but still best of 3. So we're going to be heading to Kings Row for the second one here. Heading to that one, we did get to see Renegades on that yesterday. They looked pretty solid on that map. What are you thinking about them moving up against YIKES on this different game mode?
Well, Megachu is a self-proclaimed, no longer a self-proclaimed Pheromane. Now he's self-proclaiming himself as a multi-dimensional gamer and picking up the Hanzo. So, I mean, Kings Row is certainly a great map for that. We saw him, like you said, yesterday, and I think that's a great combination for them, especially because, they have that option to have Zachary going with that Zarya, as we saw yesterday again. Really solid Zarya play in terms of getting those barriers out, having that high energy, really kind of putting out a ton of damage to be able to get those Gravitons going. But again, obviously in this matchup, we're looking to see a little bit more value in those ultimates that actually do come out from him so that Megachu can, come together with him with that Hanzo. Again, even though there was a disconnect with those ultimates, they were still pushing that payload.
Yeah,
they were still just all the way down ZLG's throats there for the entire matchup. The last time we saw them here on Kings Row just yesterday. But we'll have to see. I mean, I kind of imagine that we will see it on the attacking side. Defensively, Megachu more than likely going to be on the soldier that we see him on here. You might see some fair play coming out from YIKES here, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised of a dive of some sort.
Maybe a little bit of that Genji from Dante as well. Got to see a little bit of that yesterday as they are just about to make their picks here as we head to this map. And on defense, it looks like Zachary might actually opt for that Zarya on the defense to get things started. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that. Moving Jesus potentially over to the Roadhog as it stands, and Megachu back on the Soldier 76. We briefly saw that from him on control point on Lijiang Tower there when they had actually lost that one. But Sherlocky is on the Ana, so a little bit of a change-up coming out here from Renegades. I like this composition. I like to see this a little bit more from them. I feel like the dive comp I feel like they're better at this composition, and I feel like we're going to have a much closer game as opposed to what we had on Lijiang Tower there. So especially since it allows Primo to kind of showcase his Reinhardt skills. I've always been a fan of his Reinhardt. His Winston's always been solid, but I don't consider it one of the best by any means. So looking forward to seeing what he can do with this as we get this map underway.
Well, the thing about Renegades is that, I mean, you have Megachu. I mean, obviously he's a pretty solid soldier, but you really like to see him on, some of those projectile classes instead. But, still, I mean, Sherlocky is an intensely solid Ana, but you look at the other side, YIKES, Ginger Pop, the same thing. I mean, putting them on Mercies, obviously really solid Mercies, but they have so many different dimensions to those supports that, it becomes scary when they have the option to kind of flex around, and that's what we're seeing from both of these teams. XQC murdered.
Oh, man, that was just a poor positioning. He comes around the corner, and Primo just spots that from a mile away. Now Dante's behind enemy lines. He should be able to skip to safety there, but that was a good start for these guys. Grabbing that early ult advantage. Primo already sitting at 35% to XQC's 10, and Sherlocky as well, already 30+% up on Ginger Pop, so that's definitely a solid start to hold this point.
J3 just looking for a hook opportunity to just take a pick, but Space definitely going to be looking to try to deny him if at all possible, and he gets Jay. He just completely picks him out there.
He was looking around the corner. Dante was being a nuisance in the back there around the hotel, and he was actually turned the complete opposite way when he got peeled in. Now Dante's still in the thick of things. Pulse bomb onto Primo. Nice shield, though, coming out from Zachary, able to keep himself alive and give it a little bit of that charge over to Zachary here as they are yet to make a push, waiting for Dahoon to get back into this one. Still need to find a way to deal. Oh, Sherlocky hooked in there. He's going to be dropped, and this is looking pretty good as ZZA actually going to be able to come through with the nano boost. He should be able to melt these guys down.
Oh, but such a good tack visor coming out from Megachu. It looks like they might be able to hold on to this one despite a really, really solid pick onto Sherlocky, who had that nano boost, which would have obviously swung the fight. That tack visor might have saved things, but oh, what a Graviton!
Able to pick up two with that one space as well with the whole hog. Able to feed into that. Great positioning from Megachu, just unfortunately not enough with the tag visor. It picks up a third kill there on the XQC, but there are still 5 people here for the side of YIKES. 220 on the board. Mengachu can't do this alone, as that will be the first checkpoint captured by YIKES in a pretty solid time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Megachu didn't really have that extra assistance as Sherlocky picked twice there. I mean, the initial pick onto Sherlocky was, completely pivotal to that fight. The fact that they didn't have that nano boost, the fact that they didn't have that extra healing, that really strong healing from that Ana position, definitely hurt them in the long run. And if they had that nano boost, maybe we would have seen more picks coming out from Megachu before that Graviton even came out, because we did see Space down kind of low, so maybe you would have been able to get more aggressive with it and find that kill beforehand so the whole hog didn't tear them up.
Still, they can't find a way to deal with Dante. Misses the pulse bomb, but No one is able to come through with the kill. There's the sound barrier. Graviton Surge is out. Nice bio grenade actually connects there from Sherlocky. They're going to go ahead and pop the attack visor. Nano visor out from Mangachu. He should be able to clean this one up and push them back for the time being, as it looks like Renegades buying a little time for themselves here.
Yeah, and they're still fighting. I mean, YIKES is still trying to hold on for some reason. Tahoon is going to be just all over the place. Just, I don't know why he's trying to extend his life like that.
Well, he picked up a kill on a Sherlocky. That is a long run. They're going to be able to get a little ground, I think, covered off of that.
Oh, XUC is going to get aggressive off of that too, because again, like you said, I mean, it's just Primo and Mangachu here. They might be able to come back from spawn. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That does make a lot of sense here, that they just try to take as many picks as possible so they can get back onto the point, as XQC was one of the first to drop there, and he just charges through, just gives them a lot of extra ground. And now on the payload, you can see Mangachu actually flanking around. Gingerpop is going to sight him out as he does get shot in the side of the head.
Dante again up top. Jesus looking for the hook. Actually going to miss that one here. Still on the front line. They're going to go ahead and pop the nano boost onto Pizza there on the Zarya. Regardless, Earthshatter comes down. He hits 4 off of that, but no, Primo put to sleep. No one's there to follow up. Zachary trying to do something. He is fully charged. He's trying to melt these guys down. They're going to use a late Graviton Surge. Pulse Bomb out. Dante picks up 2 with this one here, but I think that Renegades still have this in the bag thanks to Zachary.
Yeah, and Mangachu coming through with his 3rd tactical visor of this map. I mean, already just having such an impact there on the soldier. But again, yeah, I think that definitely has to be handed to Zachary to some extent, because those barriers did kind of save that fight by keeping Mangachu alive through that pulse bomb that came out from Dante, so that he could actually pull that tactical visor out to begin with. Again, the stop that happens right here, I mean, is going to give Mangachu not only just a nice spot to be in, as he's going to be able to get some high ground, but it's going to give the Graviton out as Zachary pulls it out, and that's a good one here.
They have a lot of support there as well, coming out with the sound barrier from Jared, and Primo on the front line cleans it up, makes sure that the enemy Zarya has not much of an issue moving into that one. They used a couple of ultimates there, but moving into this next one, they're going to have that Earthshatter ready to go from Primo. So honestly, they're pretty similar in terms of ults. That was definitely a solid fight for Renegades to take. 2 minutes to go, and they're going to play this one pretty aggressively, looking to kind of, you know, defend near the archway, maybe back off a little bit from this, but look at where Jesus is at looking for the pick.
And Primo's barrier is getting down pretty low. Oh!
Hooks out XQC, makes sure that Earthshatter from Primo is in the perfect spot. Couldn't ask for better coordination between those two guys.
That looks like some old complexity setups, doesn't it? You know, just that flanking Roadhog coming over, just getting that Reinhardt, and just easy Earthshatter setup for Primo. And we talked about Primo a lot before, just, you know, watching his come-up story, you know, and, you know, what kind of impact he can have, especially with those Earthshatters. He's very, very consistent with those. And look at this, he's already at 50% again after such a nice Fire Strike, you know, getting that vision over there and just getting a bunch of damage out.
Need to be very wary of Dante. Dante's taking down Mangachu, gets him with the Helix. He had the Pulse Bomb ready to go. Oh my goodness, XQC not going to get a whole lot of value off of that Nano Boost because of what Jesus was able to do. But no, it's going to be a Graviton Surge coming back from Pizza. The cleanup crew is here, and what looked to be a fight for Renegades here turned around thanks to the Graviton Surge, and honestly a big bio grenade from Gingerpop, bringing everybody down from the side of Renegades.
Yeah, he had 2 good ones there. He actually secured the kill onto Jared with that as well. You know, obviously Jared looking to try to stall it out long enough for his team to get in there and contest before that objective actually gets pulled out. But now 2 minutes remain here, Storm, before you know, this map is going to be all said and done. Last checkpoint for them to achieve, and now it's Gingerpop sliding around the side looking for an opportunity to go for a sleep dart. He actually gets one!
Pulse Bomb a little wide left there from Dante, and you got to remember they won that last fight without Dante and his Pulse Bomb here, because that was a 5-on-6 that they came through with the victory. But Jesus being down means they can be a little aggressive. Dante really doesn't have to worry about getting picked off. Mangachu's done a decent job of dealing with him, but there's Primo, who was actually booped into Gingerpop. Earthshatter comes out from him as well as that came out from XQC, mind you, but no, still a few people left here from YIKES. They're all hit with a bio grenade. Pretty close fight, but it looks like YIKES have this one for the time being.
Yeah, Jared once again just trying to contest it for as long as possible. Jesus, who's coming back up from that respawn, just kind of coming around, and looks like he's going to be denied his pass back to Solitude. I mean, it looks like right now we're going to be seeing Mangachu come over, and now at the moment, Dante just completely just dominating here with these pulse bombs that are
Oh
coming out.
no! XQC drops the shield at the wrong time. He gets charged into it. It's the nano boosted Reinhardt versus nano boosted Reinhardt. Zachary though hooked off from the side. How does XQC come out of that engagement alive? It's the heals coming out there from Ginger Pop. He keeps him healthy throughout that in the one-on-one. Another incredible shatter, but unfortunately the team's not really there to follow up off of it, YIKES.
And Ginger Pop taken down pretty low. The right clicks from Jesus. Looks like he's trying to finish the job, but Jared does it instead. And Jesus is all over the place. Whole Hog comes out. I'm not really sure if they wanted to really do that. I mean, 20 seconds left. You know, the timing maybe makes sense as they want to just get those guys clear of the payload so that it's a very disjointed fight. You want to clean it up quick, but I think he could have done it without that. I mean, he was going to probably die anyways, but we'll have to see. I mean, Megachu making that swap over to McCree at the moment. This is the last-ditch effort here. 5 seconds remaining. They have to get onto the point, so they are going to get very aggressive. And that's the Graviton coming out as Dante actually gets picked off right as he takes out Jer.
It only hits one of them, unfortunately. That wasn't the best Graviton surge, but picking up a kill onto the Lucio is definitely solid. Allows Space to actually get up in the front, use that whole hog, but Primo caught way out of position, way in the back, gets picked off there. And of course, they're going to have to win another team fight still to move forward. They have a few people on the payload, should be able to get regrouped from both ends for one final engagement here.
Primo needs to come up big with yet another shatter here. I mean, he's gotten a couple of really strong ones before. He really needed to land that Fire Strike so he could have the setup, but he got it there. And he goes behind and he still gets it!
He hits Space. Oh, Pizza almost taken off the map, but the big Graviton Surge coming through. Zachary clearly showing up here on Kings Row. I have loved what I've seen from this guy. He has been on par with these projected barriers all map long. The Graviton Surges have been there, definitely coming up big there on the defense here to hold them just shy of that third checkpoint.
Definitely looking at Zachary. I mean, Megachu with, I don't even know if I have enough fingers to count how many times Megachu actually pulled out Attack Visor in that one. But still, I mean, really, really good impact from the Soldier play there. I mean, typically you're used to seeing Megachu on a Pharah. We've seen him on the Hanzo. I mean, we've seen him on the Soldier in the past as well. It's definitely nothing new, but really, really solidifying his flexibility as a DPS player here for sure. And I think we're going to be seeing even more of that if they can actually pull out this Hanzo and Graviton Surge combo that is going to come out from Zachary here on the Zarya. Primo, though, really, really good performance, I think, so far with those Earth Shatters. I mean, they have been insane so far.
We'll see what they can get done here on offense. They're going to have to come up with essentially all 3 checkpoints if they want to keep their tournament hopes alive. This is do or die for Renegades. They lose this, they are eliminated from the tournament, which would move YIKES into the semifinals here. Otherwise, we would be heading to a third and final game on Hollywood here. Do you think Renegades can do it?
I think it's doable. I think we are going to be seeing Renegades pull this one out. I mean, obviously, YIKES is a very solid team, and I think a lot can be said about what they were able to accomplish there and how well they did against Renegades, who are just surging out of the group stage with such a dominating, experience throughout the entirety of yesterday. But really, I mean, Renegades should be able to pull this out. I think they're going to be able to finish this map. It's just a question of how they want to go about it. It looks like they are going to be pulling out that Hanzo with Zachary Zarya there. As kind of expected, we will see Jesus as well just going forward and trying to see if he can get an instant pick over onto Ginger Pop. He sees him in that stairway, but Ginger Pop's just going to be throwing out that biotic grenade, and he's going to be dropping back over to his team. Jesus is going to be swapping now over to that Roadhog.
Excited to see what Megachu can get done here with the Hanzo this time around. Had a little bit of success yesterday with it on Kings Row in particular, like you had mentioned previously. They're actually going to make them back up for the time being, but look, it kind of opens up a lot of room for Dante to move through into the back line if they do back all the way to the hotel and archway. But no, Zachary finding the first kill there thanks to a hook as well. Its Space is out of the map, and this is going to allow for them to actually try to avoid Dante. It looks like they're not even trying. Nice hook from Jesus, though, finally finishes him off. And the Hanzo really not the biggest impact there, but YIKES, he's at 90% on his ultimate, and that's a quick point of capture.
Yeah, we didn't see him landing a lot of those scatter kills. I mean, he went for a kill there onto Jared, but it hit that curb and just bounced the wrong way. Otherwise, he definitely would have landed that. Still, though, landing out a lot of damage for his team, and you can see the effects of that as he's already got his Dragon Strike loaded up. Zachary a little behind there on the Zarya as really, I mean, they just kind of ran right over them on that first point, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities for him to really get out a lot of very impactful barriers there. So he's sitting on 0 energy right now at 43%, but look at this, 2 ultimates already charged up here for Renegades, and that's going to be the Whole Hog and the Dragon Strike.
Jesus twice now has been able to deal with Dante, who has been looking for flanking opportunities, but now he's going to get caught out on the high ground by Space. Still, they're going to go ahead and use that Dragon Strike coming out there. Primo gets the Nano Boost as well. Kind of pins XQC in the corner, but no, he's able to charge out of that one and get to safety here. And look at the positioning now from YIKES. They're kind of all scattered over the place. Going to be forced to back off of this one. Still, you are waiting for Jesus to get back up if you're Renegades.
Oh, Space is always so low, but he does go for the heal. Megachu almost takes him out. It was just really kind of one scatter arrow away, and he's going to jump down. But look at this. He did just pull his ult out, but he's already ahead of Zachary again, as after he did pull out that Dragon Strike, he still was laying out so much damage, especially with that scatter onto Space. Now they're going to have to deal with a lot of firepower on the side of YIKES here, who have the Graviton Whole Hog combo. That's exactly what opened up that first point on their attack, and I'm certain that it could do a lot here as well. I'm not sure if Zachary's going to be able to withstand that at all. I mean, it's just going to come out too early here, I think, for him.
We'll see if they want to, put Zachary up there with Mangachu, or if they want to use it with Jesus. But no, there's Dante, another triple kill coming through here with the Pulse Bomb. Excellent execution coming out from YIKES, able to just get the easy wombo combo and lay him to rest. Still 4 minutes to work with. They captured that first checkpoint in a very quick time. So clearly going to have a lot of time to work with in the second phase of this map. But they didn't use anything other than that whole hog from Jesus, which means Zachary and Mangachu can try to link up for this next fight here.
And this is a really, really good angle, actually, for Mangachu, but Zachary still has to get that thing up. He needs that Graviton to come up, but they all just file directly out of that street, which is huge for them. And a nice sound barrier coming out from Jer, actually, as the Graviton comes out, but there's no Dragon Strike at all.
Mangachu was taken down, but still, they have the numbers. Primo gets the Nano Boost up here. He's swinging away with that hammer. Doesn't look like Ginger Pop should be able to hang on too long here. And even with Jesus kind of being around the corner there, and a nice Earth Shatter coming out from XQC to get that fight started, it's going to be Renegades coming out on top and more than likely securing a second checkpoint here, unless XQC has something to say about that. Doesn't have a whole lot of other teammates in the area, but they are slowly coming behind him with Dahoon. They should be able to make a contest.
Yeah, I really would have liked to see the Dragon Strike come out there. I mean, Mangachu has been really solid, but he's just going to use it to instigate this next fight and really kind of split them up. Dahoon going to be eliminated so quickly by it.
Didn't really have much of an opportunity to get out of that one. Ginger Pop was forced to use his Bio Grenade on himself to keep himself alive, but still they've got the numbers. There's a nice hook. Oh, Projected Barrier from Zachary keeps Primo alive, as they will capture the second checkpoint and add another 90 seconds to the clock. 4:08 to work with. Quite a bit more time than we saw there from YIKES, and they need to do it. This is it for Renegades, otherwise they're going to be going home.
And the scary thing is that Zachary now, sitting on high energy, I mean, if he's not dealt with, he's going to be able to just go exactly and do exactly what we saw him do against CLG, is just keep this high energy, maintain himself, and just keep pushing out these ultimates. Right now we will see, ooh, a nice Pulse Bomb coming out from Dante just to pick Jer off.
Primo with the shatter that time. He didn't find anyone on the ground, unfortunately, and Mangachu's still up top looking for something. Don't really have too much of a way to deal with him. There's a Graviton Surge. Dragon Strike straight through it. XQC able to charge out of that one, but that is just perfect execution from those two. Utilizing that high ground with Mangachu. They clean that one up. 3:20 to go, and one team fight secures it for Renegades here.
And you talk about perfect execution. Think about that. Zachary was sitting very, very low, threw out the Graviton, actually got nano boosted for the damage reduction, so he didn't die off. He maintained high energy. Mangachu just barreled in with that Dragon Strike, and again, he's just taking guys out inside the Graviton that came out from YIKES, actually.
I'm not sure if this fight is over. They're still on the payload. Dahoons, no one's here. Get on the point. Ginger Pop is still here. They're not even on the point here. They still had 3 people in the area. It looked like YIKES had the numbers, but no. Renegades, with 2 people on the payload, complete the map and tie the series up 1-1. We're headed to a final map in Hollywood to determine who moves into the semifinals.
And Space even had that hookup too. I mean, he could have tried to, make a play there, or just try to throw his body onto it long enough for, the rest of his team to come back off of that respawn, because again, they have a huge advantage with that. And, especially if, Dante could get back over, then maybe they could make a play. But obviously didn't happen. Gingerpot was in the area as well. I think they would have had a good shot, but would have had to deal with the Dragon Strike as well that would have come out from Mangachu unless that hook actually did get him. But overall, really, really good performance here from Dante on the side of YIKES throughout the entirety of the day, this series at least, that we've seen him in. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that continue, as, obviously we have seen Dante for quite some time, casting him for months and months and months, but, it's awesome to see him having a really good impact here for this team today.
Excellent turnaround from Renegades, especially a 3-1 isn't it's not a total sweep on Lijiang Tower by any means, but that Lijiang Tower clearly looked to be Yikes' map. Take that one. Renegades able to turn it around. Still have a couple of minutes left on the clock there as they do, reach the end of Kings Row. Now we head to Hollywood for the first time today. And what are you expecting from both these teams on this map? Do you expect some more of that Far Mercy setup from the side of Yikes that's worked so well for him, since Hollywood can kind of cater to that?
Well, I agree. Yes, it definitely can cater to it, and I think it wouldn't be a surprise if it came. I'm definitely expecting, some flanking play from Dante to continue. Obviously, the Tracer and Genji has worked for them quite well, and I'm really kind of expecting that to be popped out for sure. But I mean, as for what ZZA could pull out, his teammates call him Pizza, but
Pizza's up.
Yeah,
ZZA, whatever
you want to call him. Just don't say za. Not allowed to say za. Not allowed to say za. But anyways, I mean, yeah, for what he could pull out, that's kind of up in the air for me at the moment because there's a lot of options for sure. Farah, definitely one of those options. On the other side with Renegades, you also have a lot of flexibility too. I mean, Zachary could pull out a Diva, could pull out a Zarya.
Yeah.
You definitely have the opportunity for J3. I mean, the rest of Renegades could go for a triple tank. They could go for that 2-2-2. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility here. Primo with the ability to go and get those insane earth shatters on the Reinhardt like we saw on their defensive side, which I imagine they're going to want to use for the defense. And then maybe on the attack side, we might see a Winston pulled out. It's just hard to tell at this stage. We will certainly see some switching midway through the map as well from both sides, I expect. Just have to see what they decide they want to do. I definitely wish we would have been able to see more of Renegades for sure to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. But we only got to see them in one series yesterday. Yikes, obviously we saw a little bit more, but it's only recently that we've been seeing Yikes really, really surging ahead of the competition. I mean, obviously a very strong team in general, but definitely stepping their game up, I think, over the last 2 weeks or so.
And I think something I'd like to see from Renegades here is, like you said, Zachary seems to be, with that Zarya or with that Diva role. I'd like to see him back on the Zarya here. That doesn't necessarily mean that Mangachu needs to be on Hanzo by any means. I mean, he can go over that 76 as well, and a couple other roles here as well. But I'd like to see him back on that Zarya. I think he did a tremendous job that time around. He had the follow-up there as well with his Graviton surges. I mean, they were in sync with the rest of the team. I loved what I saw from those guys, as well as Jesus and Primo Dolce. I mean, we saw one time where, we saw a hook from Jesus to get XQC out of position for the nice shatters coming out from Primo. He landed most of those, had some pretty big ones as well. So looking forward to seeing if that's something they want to go with again. I mean, what do you expect from Mangachu in particular? Back to Hanzo, playing some 76 here. What do you think from him?
Well, I mean, Hanzo is certainly a possibility if they want to go for that combination, but I'm not sure exactly how confident they're going to feel in that. I mean, Kings Row definitely caters, I think, to the ability to use those tight little kind of hallways and everything that the street phase kind of works with, where you can actually get those Gravitons, get everybody bunched up into it, and then throw out that Dragon Strike from a distance so it's not going to get eaten up by that Diva if, inside the Graviton he's just sitting there with the defense matrix up. So, I mean, yeah, Kings Row, I think, caters to it a little bit more. Certainly could come out here. I think it's just as I would put it about just the same probability of Farah coming out or something, but, Mangachu, another opportunity to use a soldier as well. It's just going to come down to what they want to pull out because there's certainly a lot of options for them here.
I got to agree on that one. The Farah didn't quite work out in their favor on Lijiang Tower. Didn't really see the best of it because that was pretty much all Yikes taking it throughout those rounds here. But we'll see if that's something they want to go with. Maybe we see a little bit more Zenyatta play potentially from Sherlocky. We'll see what they actually want to bring to the table with some of those support picks as well, because we really haven't seen much of that Zenyatta play. We saw it briefly. I believe it was the control point from Sherlock, and he was pretty much shut down. That was all Dante being able to shut him down. Just in the back line, didn't really have a whole lot of appeal. So it looks like for the time being, Renegades have decided to pick defense to get things started. Or actually, it would be Yikes picking offense, as they did lose that last map. So that's what we're going to have here. Is it looks like Sherlock is on the Ana, putting Jesus on that Tracer. So we're going with the 2-2-2 setup for the time being on the defense, with Primo moving back to the Winston.
And now looking at the defensive side, I mean, Primo, like I said before, I kind of was expecting some Reinhardt play, at least on this first point from Primo. He's just really solid on the Reinhardt. I know both you and I kind of agree on that. That obviously, yeah, his Winston is pretty solid, but It's really, I mean, the Reinhardt is just so strong from this guy. This Earthshatter is certainly helped out by the rest of his team, especially Jesus when he is on that Roadhog. But, you know, still, outside of that, they're still incredibly strong. You know, we see a lot of impact with that, but he's going to be going with the Winston, getting a little bit of integration into that high ground as well, as he can kind of support and peel for Megachu up on that second level of Cafe. And I think that's a big reason as to why they want to do that. They can also get aggressive and just jump into the supports there and kind of create some extra distance as well. It's just a little bit more to work with.
Well, they are going to be opting with that Far Mercy setup, as you mentioned here. And look at Space. He's actually in a pretty rough spot here. He's going to be demeched right away. He was back in the Cafe, and he didn't really have any support. Ginger Pop wasn't able to get to him. He's the first to fall for the side of Yikes. So definitely a strong start, but they need to make sure they're taking care of their carries as Jesus went down. But regardless, Yerkes, a terrific start, especially getting rid of Space. I think that opens up a big window for Mangachu to free fire back in the Cafe. If Space comes back there, they all just regrouped and helped him out and found that easy kill into Space's mech.
Yeah, that's exactly, I mean, that's a perfect execution for reactive dive right there. Primo and Zachary just jumping right on top of XQC in Space. We know that those two guys are going to want to be very aggressive. They're going to want to just jump in and try to get in there and take some kills. And they do the same thing again, but look at this. Primo just jumping right back in, but he gets pulse bombed when he tries, sends him right up to the moon.
Yeah, he was on the ground trying to hide in the corner. Dante spotted him last time there, and this time it was no secret that he was hiding out. But Mangachu now, Dak Visor activated, finds his kill in the skies, pulse bomb out there, but no, Ginger Pop comes through with that Resurrect to get them both back up into this one, and this is looking favorable for Yikes. They've got the numbers, already used Resurrect though.
Mangachu under pressure. He actually winds up killing himself off with that heal truck that comes out, and Sherlocky trying to help out Primo, who came in late now off of that respawn after getting pulse bombed earlier. ZZA almost got slept there by Sherlocky, but does manage to just elude that for the time being. And still, this is back and forth here on the point storm as Sherlocky trying to get a little bit of distance. Self-destruct comes out in a weird position actually from Zachary as he needs to get back into that mech, and Barrage kills off too.
Oh, that was rough for Primo. He tried to jump into the sky with that Primal Rage. I think it expired mid-jump there, and he just got melted down by the barrage. But right now, Renegades just trying to buy as much time as they possibly can. They still have 3 people in the area right here, and make it 4 as it looks like Jarek should be able to make it back in time. And every second counts. Already 2 minutes off the clock with essentially only 2 team fights here, but it's seemingly going to be Yikes coming through with the team fight victory.
Yeah, XQC's presence is just too strong here on this point. I mean, they just weren't able to get the damage out to get him down. If they would have been able to find that kill, they probably would have been able to get back onto the point and actually secure that defensive hold, but that was not the case. XQC just staying there and being able to linger for so long, and they were able to capture that out. Now 3:50 on the clock here, Storm, as we will see Yikes contesting this high ground, trying to deny that from Mangachu. Not even just Mangachu, but also Jesus, who has made that swap over to the Widow and takes XQC out, forcing out the Resurrect.
That was, yeah, that's not good for them. They forced to use that one because XQC thought he had a little bit more support, but the side of Renegades were just too much damage to be able to take down that barrier and capitalize on that one. And Space wasn't in the area, or at least close enough to be able to try to absorb some of that damage with the defense matrix. But like you said, Jesus is on that Widowmaker, pulling it out for the first time today. We'll have to see if he's able to find any easy snipes for himself. He did pick up Dante there, but they need to be very careful now that they have to worry about him.
And he can definitely just kind of jump up onto that high ground, help out Mangachu as well, and looks like they're going to be on different sides of the street. As XQC, again, just trying to get aggressive there with Space, and Space just trying to peel for him a little bit, but still the picks coming out from Jesus.
Finding Dante for a second time now, and he gets another kill thanks to Mangachu as well onto Pizza. And honestly, it's going to be tough here for XQC. He not only has to worry about Jesus, but I mean, Mangachu is coming up clutch with a couple of kills. Now XQC in the back line, he gets hit with a bio grenade thanks to Sherlocky, and that's easy pickings for him and Mangachu. And Yerkes, they win that team fight. They didn't have to use anything in that one.
Their positioning is just so solid up here. I mean, Mangachu in the back, Jesus all over the place. It's really hard to see what kind of angle he's going to be taking. And now with this Inversight, they're at an extreme advantage right now, as he can just kind of take these picks at his own will here. But that's going to be some aggression once again coming out from XQC. Gets headshot though, and he's going to be reduced. Oh, the sleep dart coming out.
That should be an easy headshot. Yeah, Jesus, I couldn't imagine him missing that headshot as he's put to sleep here. But nice pulse bomb. Dante trying to turn this around for his team, but they just can't get a grip on the high ground. Like you said, XQC jumped back there, but he even had the sound barrier because they initiated that fight with the Hoon actually dropping that and then him jumping into the back, but it just wasn't enough to deal with the sniper threat.
And I really think that ZZA needs to make a swap here. I mean, you're trying to force this pick against Jesus and Mingachu and just hoping that XQC and Space can create that separation so you don't have to deal with that pressure. But obviously, it's not working quite yet. They're just stomping you at this stage.
XQC popped a Primal Rage. He was trying to disperse them, trying to move them about, but he didn't really find much with it. There was just no one for his team kind of there, and he's now trying to finally get Jesus. He can't get him because it's Mangachu coming through with that kill. I have seen XQC jump into the back line, I don't know how many times now, 4 or 5 times to try to deal with the Widowmaker threat, as I keep saying here, but they just can't get a grip because it's only XQC in the back line. He needs some help.
He's still on that Pharah, though, and I mean, he just hasn't been able to get much accomplished, and he finally does make that swap over to the Zarya, which I do like, but I mean, the question becomes, is this the answer that you're looking for? Because now you're not going to be able to really even contest the high ground at all. You have Dante on the Tracer, not the Genji or anything, so you have nobody to knock these guys off. They're just going to be taking pot shots as if they're just like, well,
it's Space now. Space, actually not Space. Space makes a change over to the Roadhog, and now they don't really have any way to get onto that high ground to try to deal with it. Nano Visor coming out, though, from Mangachu. He drops to the low ground willingly because, again, there is no Winston to knock them down. There is no Diva anymore. Space made that change over to the Roadhog here. And something we're not seeing from Dante anymore is his presence and what he was able to do on Lijiang Tower getting into the backline. We haven't seen that from him yet. And now they've only got 20 seconds to go.
The major issue is that at this stage, okay, I do like the Genji swap, actually, because now he can go up there, he can try to, push them back, be, a little bit aggressive and just kind of at least get someone in their face so that they have someone else to look at.
Is it too late, though? And it's his all or nothing here for the side of Yikes. Nice hook, self-destruct out there, but Soundberry should be able to keep him alive through that damage. But XQC shield is actually taken down. Primo picks up that immediate kill onto Dante. Going to allow for a little bit more wiggle room from Jesus on the Widowmaker up top. Still sniping away here. They've got the numbers. They did lose Jer. Not a whole lot of ultimates available, though. We'll see as they continue to move the payload forward.
And Sherlocky, I mean, no one's really trying to touch him. I mean, he hasn't even healed himself this entire fight. He's sitting on the bridge at 140 HP. What a biotic grenade from Sherlock. He actually should be able to deny the healing coming out from that Lucio and maybe find a kill. The Nano Boost is ready to go. We'll have to see if he wants to pull it out. I think they really should. It's in overtime right now. If you can have any hopes of winning the fight, you pull it out now. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Mingachu down pretty low. Nano Boost comes out anyways, though, as the hook comes out as well.
Tac Visor will be activated here. XQC put to sleep. Coming through from Sherlocky. That is a game-changing play from him. Still, it's Jesus. He is finally taken down. He was taken down just before that fight kind of ensued here as Dante tried to deal with him. XQC, the lone survivor. A huge shadow comes through.
He's not
on the point. And Renegades hold them just as short again from the second checkpoint here. And man, does Renegades have their... They've got their work cut out for them. Nice update coming out from XQC.
Yeah, I think that's because this happens to be one of those maps where if you're sitting on the payload, you don't actually get you don't actually get earth shattered. I think this is
it was
just one of
still
those
off
maps.
of the payload at that point, but even so, here, I mean, that was a decent time capture from Yikes to be able to get that first checkpoint, and Renegades just a very strong mid to late game, holding them short. And this is everything. Not going to have a tie. Won't be heading to a tiebreaker, clearly, as they didn't complete the map. And what are you thinking Yikes need to do on the defensive end of things to be able to come through with a successful defense? I mean, this is one of these teams going home right now after this round.
Well, I think they really need to be smarter about the compositions. I mean, the swap that they made at the latter stage of that attacking phase, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, XQC in space, they were getting aggressive, but I think what they wanted to do was switch Dante over, off of that Tracer and over to the Genji, really kind of put a lot of effort into taking those guys off the high ground, because once you do, you back the Widow into a corner, you take the free pick, because really, I mean, a Diva and a Winston and a Genji are going to be able to find that kill every single time, and then you put them right onto the Soldier, and you've taken out pretty much all of their pick potential. For the most part, you still have you still have Primo that you have to worry about. You still have Zachary to some extent as well. But, I mean, if you could find those 2 kills by really just putting all your effort into just trying to take out that high ground, maybe even go Ana Zenyatta or something like that, then you might have an opportunity. Maybe Lucio gets up on top as well. But still, I mean, I think they were just trying to be a little bit too disjointed by having some kind of ground game and some kind of contest on the high ground. It just wasn't working on both sides.
Pizza and Ginger Pop back to that Far Mercy. We are going to see Sherlocky break out the Zenyatta. I like this pick. He knows that XQC is going to be on that Winston. Finally going to see that. And also Mangachu on the Hanzo here. So going with that triple DPS. No Zarya to accommodate him, as Zachary is on the Genji. So a big change up from Renegades. I like what I see. Let's see what they can make of it with the 4 minutes they have.
Oh, Dante just narrowly avoiding that what would have been a one-shot from Mangachu as he came up onto Gatorade there, but actually it is going to be contested by XQC as Sherlocky opening up. They are already finding kills here, Storm.
XQC can't get away from Primo. The Discord Orb is too much to handle here, and they are going to end up capturing this first checkpoint in a remarkable time. Make it about 40-ish seconds here, X, and they're going to have over 5 minutes to work with to basically get through one checkpoint. Can YIKES hold it? Yes, they can at this stage. They're going to be an ult disadvantage, though. This will be very rough for 5:30.
Yeah, and the Shimada brothers are coming forward as well. I mean, Mangachu's saying a 71% ult charge, just trying to get some vision here. And Jesus actually going to be swapping back over to the Widow here. It worked very well for them defensively, and now he's looking for some picks to, go forward with. And ZZ actually going to be eliminated again. He just hasn't really had a good time at all today on this map.
He really hasn't. And Jesus showed what he was able to do with that Widowmaker on defense. Immediately finds an opening pick. Now he sees Pizza going over to the Roadhog. Ginger Pop surely going to be making the change if he gets his Resurrect up and if he happens to die. But this is it. I mean, this is one teamfight territory. Maybe some staggering there. We see the Dragon Strike come out. Doesn't find anything, but Zachary falls through with an additional kill. It's pretty even, but Zachary now, Dragon Blade out, picks up one for himself. Jesus on the high ground. No one is up here to deal with him. He is free-firing here, X.
And again, this is the same problem that they had when they were trying to attack. Nobody contesting this Widow. He's just taking pot shots. And when you have a guy like Jesus making these shots, you have to really worry about that because he's going to land them. He's going to land them, and he's going to be consistent too. So you really have to have someone trying to contest him, or else you're going to have an extremely bad time, which is exactly what we're witnessing from YIKES.
This is do or die. This is everything on the table. We see XQC on the high ground, pops the Primal Rage. He's trying to knock Jesus off from the high ground here, who pops the Infrasight. Meanwhile, on the payload, still haven't been in an engagement. Sherlocky coming through. He's going to go ahead and use his Transcendence. Dragon Strike is out. Does only find one, but still, that's a nice pickup for him here, X. They have a chance. Ginger Pop going to fall out of this one. Only have the Hoon to be able to keep him alive, and I think that YIKES live to see another day.
Yeah, they will see another fight at the very least here. JR going to be coming back, actually, and we will see Mangachu right now swapping over to the Soldier here. And it's going to be a pretty traditional, I mean, this is essentially like a Rogue-style composition here with the dive, triple DPS with that Zenyatta. And now we'll have to see if this is going to be able to, find those kills that they need. This is going to be very consistent damage. With Zachary, though, with that Dragon Blade, certainly going to be unsheathed in this next one. And really nothing to kind of answer it at the moment. He should be able to just come alive. If he can find those support kills, this is it. Renegades will be able to take this one.
They used Sound Barrier last time, so that is a good point that Zachary doesn't really have too much to really worry about unless he gets hooked out there or XQC's on him. Yeah, or slept. I guess there are a lot of options, but right away it's actually Jesus getting hit there. They're going to go ahead and initiate off of it regardless of being at a numbers disadvantage. Zachary in the backline finds one for himself, but still they can't get a grip on the Tracer from YIKES, who are still trading numbers. Got to remember the trades clearly favoring the defense, so they back them off. They do force out a whole hog. Not sure that was necessary, but Pizza wants to be safe that they hold on. 2:45 to go.
You really want to see more value from Zachary, but not being able to get the kill off onto Hoon quickly and efficiently to be able to just turn and really kind of rein in Ginger Pop as well to get both supports out of the equation. That definitely set them back a little bit. I mean, he just got thrusted up into the air by ZZA's whole hog, so not really, his fault. Just didn't work out in his favor that time around.
Primo in the backline, hit with a bio grenade though. This could be rough for him. They go ahead and use the nano boost onto XQC. Not a whole lot of targets in his vicinity, but he's looking for Zachary here. They're still fighting on the payload though. They do force out to Hoon's Sound Barrier as well, and this should back off the rest of Renegades. No reason for them to use Primo Dolce's Primal Rage, but he pops it anyways here. He's feeling there's some faith, but no, he's going to get put to sleep. And again, wasn't the biggest fan of that one.
And Dragon Strike coming out onto the payload as well. He's just going to throw it out. I'm not sure if he's going to get, he's definitely not going to get any picks, but XQC just gets headshot there by an arrow, and Jer finishes the job, and he's going to be eliminated.
This might be it, man. I mean, there goes, they lose Sherlocky, but they still have the numbers on the payload. They've got both supports here with only Dante as Ginger Pop falls. Scatter Arrow goes wide up in the air. XQC going to try to hold on to this as long as he can with this Primal Rage, but they've got those short spawns now that Space is back in the mix, and this is looking like YIKES might be able to hold on here.
Oh, man, they're draining time away, too. I mean, Renegades really needs to get a regroup going. I don't see them able to win this. And Space now, who does almost get DMAC'd, is going to be able to get healed, and we should see Jesus backed off more than likely. If he doesn't get killed, he will have to retreat. Looks like with that Harmony Orb, he will be able to make his exit. But now with just, I mean, you have literally a minute left, and YIKES has really stolen away a lot of time, I think, by some misplay there on Renegade's part, just as a team.
4 minutes and 30 seconds drained off the clock in the second phase of the map right now. This could be the final fight. We'll see how long they're able to keep themselves alive. Jer does have that ultimate ready to go, but an early pick onto Dante. XQC is going to be the nano boosted target once again. What can Zachary get done? Dragon strikes out. It doesn't find anything right away, but Ginger Pop will be dropped with a scatter here. They're on the payload here. They have Mengashu with the high ground. They don't really have to worry about too much from the threat of XQC as he's taken down. They've got a few on the payload. Oh man, Pulse Bomb finds one, but Transcendence is out from Sherlocky. They only have to worry about a couple people since Space is taken out of the mech.
And ZZA gets eliminated too, so they don't really have a presence on the point. It's going to be contested for a little while longer as 15 seconds is remaining on the time.
He was knocked up in the air. Excellent play from the Winston with the Primal Rage. He knocks him up. That is Renegades taking it with 6.4 seconds remaining. They will be moving into the semifinals here with a 2-1 victory over YIKES.
Primo literally saving the day there by just throwing that Lucio into the skies, denying that ult from coming down. And that's definitely an interesting way to finish out a match because, you know, being able to deny that ult might have just been exactly what they needed. You never know if they would have been able to come back around. They didn't have a lot of time left too, and you'll see here Mengachu with the play of the game on that Soldier 76, just again showing off the, I would say some of the versatility that he has. He's only really played 3 heroes so far, so it's hard to say he's got a lot, but definitely looking very strong on all the characters that we've seen him playing on so far. And despite that, I mean, it is going to be Renegades pushing forward, as we called out, but still, I mean, that has to feel like somewhat of an upset at this point.
A little bit of one, especially not really knowing what to expect from Renegades moving forward. But of course, the GGs out there, all love from the side of YIKES, hoping that they take the tournament, and very well could be. They are now in the semifinals. They're going to be waiting the victor between Selfless and LG Evil. Don't quite have that victor, but we do know that Kungarna actually 2-0'd Rise Nation. They're waiting the winner between Cloud9 and CLG, so should be exciting to see what we have coming up next. Not sure which semifinal will be up first, guys. We are going to be heading to a short break. When we're back, we'll have a semifinal for you guys. Don't go anywhere.